Okay, can 2020 get any weirder? Beavis and Butthead? Okay. Welcome all fellow wannabes, welcome to the channel. I am Gabriel Fast, and yes, I do claim to be the wannabe critic. I'm coming at you today with a kind of a newish type segment. I did this a couple of months ago whenever I did my little SGN spoof type thing, you know, and I would talk into the multiple cameras. I'm not going to do that this time, but that is going to be something that's implemented later, so stay tuned. I thought I would call this little thing the Wannabe Roundup. I'm on Twitter all the time trying to reach out to make contacts, you know, to get people to collaborate with and things like that. And I see a lot of stuff on Twitter, so I wanted to share it with you because I think you might enjoy some of the things that I do end up finding. And things that are just, you know, pretty big headlines in the news that I want to give my thoughts about, but I can't really get the boys together to do a podcast as it's happening, so it's kind of like I want to do it as soon as possible and talk about it and give my thoughts on it. So here we go. Without further ado, let's get into it. Xbox released a series of tweets this morning about the Xbox Summer Game Fest. Each year, PAX, E3, you know, Gamescom, all these different game conferences and things like that, they generate hype for what we're going to be seeing in the gaming community, you know, for the next couple of years, and media outlets usually get hands-on. But whenever pandemics hit and, you know, COVID-19 strikes, isolation means we are not going to be getting to see those news outlets and those media outlets get their hands on it, which means that we're not going to see really any hype generated. So how do we see the games industry generate hype? Obviously, we've seen a wealth of digital events and digital presentations, especially like with what Xbox is doing next month, as well as with what we saw at the PS5 reveal event. But Xbox is kind of taking it to the next level. July 21st through the 27th, we are going to be able to get hands-on with game demos that are actually in development currently, with a very rough overall, you know, product of maybe even the first, potentially even like the very first visions or even the bare bones of some games that are not fully realized yet. And you as the consumer are going to be able to get your hands on those. Whenever we think about game demos, we think about all these highly polished experiences that the developer is basically saying, hey, you can play this this small chunk of the game, that's the demo, but overall it's done. What the Summer Game Fest is going to do is from July 21st to the 27th, you as the consumer and the gamer are going to be getting your hands on these very early experiences and being able to give feedback to the developers on what you like and what you don't like. It's pretty cool. If you want to see the full article, you can definitely check out the link in the description and read it. They already have some games that are going to be slated and the demos that are going to be available at that time. The PlayStation blog put out a new article today from Shuhei Yoshida, who is in fact the head of the independent department for Sony Interactive Entertainment, and this is what he had to say regarding the indie community. The indie community is increasingly important for the future of the video game industry. As AAA game development has grown so financially demanding that big companies are finding it harder to take risks to invest in new concepts that may or may not work. We trust indie developers with strong vision will continue to bring ideas that had never been tried before, creating whole new genres of games and advancing the art and meaning of video games. PlayStation has always embraced games with completely new concepts like Pa Rappa the Rapper, Katamari Damacy, Little Big Planet, and Journey, and we look forward to seeing what surprising new ideas will come next. I was so excited to see the strong reactions to the amazing indie titles featured in the PS5 Future of Gaming event a few weeks ago. Do they not look charming and interesting? I, for one, could not get the Bugsnax song out of my head for a few days since the show went live. While details are still forthcoming, we are also happy to confirm a new indie title will join the PlayStation Now service every month, starting with Hello Neighbor in July. So, back a few years ago, whenever the PlayStation Experience was, in fact, you know, we saw a departure with the PlayStation Experience, which did feature and really put the spotlight on a lot of indie titles. We kind of saw that go away, and there's been an outcry ever since for the lack of representation for indie titles. Shuhei right here in this blog post, though, is making it seem like indies aren't going anywhere, and they are, in fact, going to be a big part of next generation, which is no doubt exciting, especially for me, since I do really love indies, and I'm always itching to find new good indie experiences that have lots of heart. So it's nice to see that that's happening. If you want to check out the full article, it's in the description down below, and you can see 9 games that they announced today to kind of boost this initiative. I would have liked to see them add the game each month to PlayStation Plus instead of PlayStation Now, but beggars can't be choosers, and I understand that that's a lot of free games to give away. I'm no fool. I'm not a very big fool. As far as the last item on the Wannabe Roundup for July 1st, 2020, as I said in the outset, Beavis and Butthead are back, baby. They are returning to TV, and yes, in fact, Mike Judge will be producing, writing, voicing the characters just like the good old days, like whenever he did it back in the day with Beavis and Butthead, and even with King of the Hill and things like that. It's been a while since Mike Judge has really done anything. I think he was focusing on movies for a while. He did kind of try and reboot Beavis and Butthead back in 2011, but those jokes didn't really land, and we didn't see longevity with that particular time period of Beavis and Butthead. But I am really excited to see what happens. I grew up laughing at Beavis and Butthead and making jokes with my friends, and somehow the generation older than me grew up watching Beavis and Butthead and laughing with their friends about it too. So it's really kind of interesting to see the return of Beavis and Butthead, and I can't wait to see what happens. It's nice to see Mike Judge bring those characters out of retirement. So there you have it, Beavis and Butthead. You can expect to see it on Comedy Central, and I even read that there's potential for spin-off series. So there you have it. Well, that about does it for this edition of the Wannabe Roundup. You know, sometimes I can't say that the format is going to be exactly the same every single time, but I enjoyed talking about these things. It's funny because this is actually like the 5th time I've tried to record this video because my camera was having issues, so I would have probably had it out by now, by the time, well, before. That's kind of weird. I don't want to think about that too much. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This video is sponsored by PopCultUSA.com. This Natural Light hat that I'm wearing, this Super Nintendo t-shirt that I'm wearing, it's all officially licensed. If you head over to PopCultUSA.com and use the code _wannabecritic at your checkout, you'll be able to get 20% off to get you some officially licensed swag from PopCultUSA.com. So definitely go check it out. As I said before, the articles that I found all this information are all linked down below. You can definitely give it a look-see if you don't want to hear me talk about it or form your own opinions about it. I'm excited about all these things, and yeah, I'm excited about this new format of the show. So definitely check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing. It would really mean the world to me, and I would love to talk about something that you want to talk about. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you for preparing yourselves for a plethora of hot takes and potentially unpopular opinions. I'm Gabriel Fast. I will always be the Wannabe Critic.